What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me on this fine Thursday. Happy February 12th. I hope you're enjoying your evening. I hope you're having a good day. Hope life is going well for you. So what's going on? Haven't spoken to you guys in 2 days, man. It's been a while. As you see, I got a haircut. I feel like a new person, man. I say it all the time, and I'm going to keep continuing to say it until the day that I die. Let's help kids be internet awesome. That's what I've always wanted to say. Let's help kids be internet awesome. No, but for real, the haircut, man, it's the key to happiness. It's the key to success. My hair and my weight, they are a direct correlation with my mental state. A direct correlation with the way I feel. If my hair is looking wild, like the way it's been, previously for like the last, 6 episodes, last 3 weeks, that says a lot about where I am mentally. If I'm losing my mind, my hair gets long. I can't be the only one. I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. But happy Thursdays, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful, beautiful day. I know out here in Maryland, we're supposed to get snow for like the next week or so. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not sure. But all my Russian fans, which is insane to say that I have Russian fans. Not fans. I don't like that. Fans. Ugh. No. Listeners. COVID. Listeners, thank you so much for all you guys. But, yeah, good luck with the Bears out there. I know it's probably snowing right now as you speak. But COVID, dude, let's get into COVID, man. I want to talk about COVID. What is going on? That Super Bowl game, man. That Super Bowl game was the worst Super Bowl I have seen in a long time, man. It was, I don't know. People asked me before about like who I thought was going to win, and I said Brady, right? I was very confident Tom Brady's going to win. I did not think it was going to be by that much. It's crazy. It's insane. What's even more insane is the respect that he just still does not get. Tom Brady just does not get the respect that he deserves. He's the GOAT, right? Like, he's the greatest football player to ever play the game. He's one of the greatest athletes. Maybe not like athletic ability. It's probably like a Bo Jackson or like a Deion Sanders thing. By the way, I know I never talk about football here, but I do watch football. Like I'm like a dude. Like I do watch football. I just don't really talk about it too much. It's not like one of my passions is sports. Not really. I mean, baseball used to be, but it's not something I get too into. But he's the greatest football player of all time. He's the most in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe there's a case for Tiger Woods in golf, and then there's Serena Williams in tennis. Maybe Michael Jordan, but then you have the debate with LeBron James. But I think he is the most dominating athlete in his sport ever. I mean, nobody competes with him. I think Super Bowl rings. How many Super Bowls have Brady won? Has Brady won? 9. He made 9 and then won 6. So he has 7. He has 7 Super Bowl wins. He made 9 Super Bowls out of 20 seasons with the Patriots. He goes over to Tampa Bay, and the first season he plays, he wins the Super Bowl. It's almost mind-blowing to be 43 years old and to think that you still are the number 1 player in the league, and people just don't give him the respect that he deserves. And I think it's because a lot of shitty people. I think a lot of shitty people are the loudest people. I think the people who don't like Brady are just losers. I said it, and I'll say it again. The people who don't like Brady are just losers. The dude is a good person outside of football. He's a great leader. He's loud when he needs to be loud. All his players respect him. The funniest thing about it is how much respect or how much love Bill Belichick used to get. And he's like Bill Belichick's weird, right? He's from Annapolis. Like, he went to Annapolis High School, but he doesn't get love from Annapolis. Like, they don't show him respect. But it's kind of hilarious how for so long we thought like Bill Belichick was this amazing coach and he's the best coach of all time. And we didn't really, I mean, we knew how great Tom Brady was, but it was like Tom Brady's that great because fill in the blank, Bill Belichick. And I'm not saying Bill Belichick's a bad coach, but what I am saying is you get a player like Cam Newton who is an above, I would say he's an average, who's slightly above average quarterback, an amazing athlete, but a slightly above average quarterback. And the results are what you expect, right? And it's just so funny to see Tom Brady just get all this like love when he played for the Patriots, not as much as he should, because a lot of it was going to Bill Belichick. And then he goes over to Tampa Bay and he just crushes. He just crushes. It wasn't even close. Patrick Mahomes is going to be he's going to be a top 5, top 3 football player of all time, right? I mean, once Tom Brady's out, who's going to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? I mean, he's going to go every year pretty much. I mean, between him and the Bills, like, I just don't see how he can lose. You know, Patrick Mahomes is great. The only thing stopping the second best player in the NFL is the first player in the NFL, the first best player in the NFL. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be, and I think that's the way it should be. But I don't know. I just think Tom Brady deserves love, like from everybody. Like, I think you got to respect greatness, and I think the people who don't respect greatness are never going to be great. You know, you got to acknowledge greatness. LeBron James, the Mike Trouts, the Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Roger Federer, like these guys, Michael Phelps. These people are the greatest of all time. That's another one. Michael Phelps is dominant in his field of swimming. Nobody beats him. Nobody comes close to him. But yeah, that's I wanted to talk about football earlier, but I just never got around to it because I just talked about my whole portfolio. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. It seems like every time we talk about money, people kind of like clinch up their butts a little bit. Like, they don't really like talking about money. And I'm trying to create a platform where talking about money is just as comfortable as talking about your day. Like, I think it's really important to talk about money. I think it's really important to let young people talk about money and not let young people be afraid of money. Because I think a lot of people my age and a lot of people, you know, in the 20s, even 30s, like, it's like taboo to talk about it. Like, you're not supposed to. It's a sign of greed. It's a sign of evilness. Like, I know growing up, I always was told money's the root of all evil. It's also the root of all good. Like at the same time, there's a whole different side of it where, no, it makes the world a better place. Like, the reason why the worst places in the world to live are the places without money is because you need money to build up a civilized country, a civilized area. Because what happens when you don't have money is you are willing to take more risk, right? Risk that have much harsher punishments if you don't succeed. You don't have the ability to live in comfort, right? You don't eat quality food. And there's a lot of issues that, you know, that shouldn't be a thing, right? Maybe you shouldn't have to have money to live a decent life. But the way that it's set up now is you do, right? And I think when you're taught from a young age that money is not everything, money is not success, then you don't try to make it. And then not trying to make it means you're going to get caught up in a cyclical cycle where you don't have it. And then when you don't have it, you get upset that you don't have it. Because you look around and you're like, but other people have it. I should have it too. And I think there's secrets to have money. And so for me, I think it's very important to get people to talk about it. Get people our age to talk about it. And get people to talk, be honest about it. And not be like afraid to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't really have a savings. I spend all my money. I have very poor management skills with my finances. I think that's okay. Like, I want people to be extremely honest about their money because I want people to do well. Like, the one thing that makes me feel better than anything else is when I have a friend or family member or somebody that I know personally in my life, when they see that light bulb go off in their head and they start understanding how to get a higher stream of income, or they see another route to make a little bit of extra money, right? Or they start valuing money. Or what's even better is when someone tells me, hey man, like I've been saving my money and like I stopped going to Wawa. Like I know somebody who goes to Wawa 6 days a week, and this person just started investing. And in my head, I'm like, yo, dude, if you stop going to Wawa 6 days a week, I'm going to say that you're just spending $3 a day. It's probably closer to $4, but let's just say $3 a day, right? So six times a week. So that's $18 a week. $18 a week times 52, that's $936. Let's just go to, I just want to show this investment calculator. That's $936. That's it. So let's go to investment calculators. Let's say you start out a starting amount of, let's say you can savage $300. You put that sucker just in the S&P, which is it just tracks the top 500 companies on the market. After, let's say this person's 30 years old, by 50 years old, you still got a lot of life to live. Depends on how well you take care of yourself. But after 20 years, you start out with $300. You're averaging a 10% return, which is the average for the S&P. And what did I say? $3 a day times 6, because they don't go 7 days a week, times $4. That's $72 a month you can put in. $72 a month. You start with $300. By the age of 50, you're looking at $54,000. That's just off of putting money that you don't use, that you use that you don't need to use. You take it, you save it, and you put it somewhere where it can grow. Let's just say you can save an extra $100 a month, right? You can save an extra $28, whatever it is. Like you fill up your tires so that they can go farther, so you get more miles per gallon, so you don't have to spend as much money on gas. Let's say you cut out the instead of going out to eat one time a week, you go out, or one time a month, one time a week. I'm sorry. Instead of going out to eat 4 times a month, you go out twice a month. So you spend $50, right? Each time you got to eat. That's an additional $200. You cut it out. You only go 2 times a month now. You're saving $100. So let's say now you can invest $172. So $100 from your saving from going out to eat with you and your wife, or you and whoever, and cutting out all the Wawa stuff, because you don't need Wawa, right? You could make bulk coffee. It's $172. So from $72 a month to $172 a month, $72 a month at 10% over 20 years, starting out with $300 equals $53,732.91. If you bump that sucker up to $172 a month, $125,000. You see what I mean? And let's just say you can get crazy. You rounded that up to $200. $145,000. So $200 after 30 years. Boom. You're almost worth $500,000 just off of that. And these are the things that I want people to talk about, because I think it's so important. I think it's so important to have your money right. And not just for like your future, but for your mind state, right? I think it's healthy to have your money right. It makes you feel good, makes you feel more confident when you go in situations, makes you wanna, I don't know, it just makes you feel better. But that's my soapbox, right? That's what that was not my intention, but that's what I ended up talking about. So let's get into a few topics. I have a few things written down here. Wall Street slave. Oh yeah, that was fascinating. Kyle Dunnigan, free flat Philipposity trans process, Florida COVID Super Bowl. So I don't, my girlfriend and I, we went ahead and watched, I've been watching The Crown a lot, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. I never realized that Queen Elizabeth, that chick rolled with Winston Churchill. I had no idea. That's insane to think that she's that old. Like, Queen Elizabeth she's been around during every single major event. She has seen everything. That chick is 94 years old. She knew Winston Churchill, like the hero of World War II. That's crazy to me. And that show like is actually a really good history show. The Crown is a really good history show. I'm on season 2. Taylor doesn't like it nearly as much as I do. I think simply just because it if you're not fascinated in history, you probably won't like The Crown because they assume a lot of things from the viewer, which I like. But I also am highly intrigued with history, especially the United Kingdom, which I didn't know I would be, but I ended up being very fascinated with the UK. I forgot that they were an empire. Like they were an empire. They owned a bunch of countries in Africa. They owned a bunch of land in India. Like for a long time. Like they owned so many islands. Like the UK empire in early 1900s and early 20th century. Yeah, I want to see this. This is insane to me. I just had no idea. United Kingdom, left British Empire before 1939. 1901 includes dominions. Nigeria, additions to empire. Okay. I need a better map. I can't read that map. I can't read that map. I can't read it. Okay, here we go. Cool. This is the British Empire. That's a better map. I could do that. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come on. There you are. Okay. Map showing British Empire in the 1920s. Colored red. So let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so this is the 1920s. The UK, which you can't do nowadays, it's impossible. There's just too much space. There's just too much space to people don't want to be owned, right? But the UK, obviously, they owned all of the UK, Scotland, like all of that. Looks like they owned part of Morocco, but they owned Kuwait, Iraq, the Sudan area, Saudi Arabia, the southeast part of Saudi Arabia, the Sudan, South Africa, Nigeria, the Gallic Coast, Sierra Leone, Canada. I had no idea they owned Canada. Honduras. It looks like a northern part of Brazil. I don't know what that is. Papua New Guinea, Australia. I said Canada. All the Bahamas. Like I just never realized that. Anyways, so The Crown is a good show. I watch it all the time. Taylor doesn't really have too much interest in it. But I do, so I go ahead and watch it all the time. But anyway, so we started watching a new movie called The Danish Girl. Have you heard of it? Like, The Danish Girl is, it was made in 2015. Yeah, 2015. It's a romance drama. It's with Alicia Vikander, who's the girl who played the role of Ex Machina, which was the robot movie. And the guy's name was Eddie Redmayne, who I had no idea who it was. And I thought he was gay. Like, you watch The Danish Girl, and he's such a amazing actor, and he's a straight dude. And I thought he was gay because he plays I don't think the person's gay in the movie. I'm not too sure. I'm not, like, I'm really not trying to be ignorant here, and I'm not trying to, like, offend people. But I do get confused with transsexuals and their sexual preferences. I mean, not that I need to know their sexual preference, but it is something that I am intrigued. Like, I am interested in it. The other one that I've always been interested in, once again, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Like, I'm just curious, and I think curiosity is good. And I think if we don't talk about these things, like, you're just going to continue to offend people. If I'm offending people, I want to know why, and then I won't do it again. Like LGBTQIA, intersexual, asexual. Asexual is the one that's fascinating to me because asexual means you're not. Let me just look this up. Asexual describes a lack of sexual attraction. Okay, so asexual means you're not sexually aroused by any sex, right? can you transition from an asexual to a heterosexual or a bisexual or to a homosexual? Like, can you transition if you were asexual? I mean, obviously you can, but if you're not sexually attracted to anyone and you become sexually attracted, were you ever asexual, or is it like a stage of your life? And I know a lot of it's really fascinating because like a lot of eunuchs back in the day, like the 1920s, no, like during the medieval times, where they'll cut your dick off, they cut your balls off if you're a man. I guess they remove your clitoris as a woman. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I shouldn't say things like that if I'm not 100% sure on. But then obviously you wouldn't be sexually attracted, right? Because the reason why we're sexually attracted to people is because we have testosterone, we have estrogen, and at the end of the day, it's because we want to reproduce. And that's a lot of theories about like birth control and like condoms and like depression and like is there a correlation with condom use in male depression? I wonder if there is. Condoms use was less among people with depression in both males and females. However, condom use was far less frequent among males with depression than their male counterparts. Depression was found to reduce the odds of condom use and last sexual intercourse with the males. Well, that makes sense. Association between depression and condom use differs by sexual behavior group in patients. Identifying a relationship between depression and sexual risk behavior. Okay, whatever. I don't feel like talking about that. But anyways, The Danish Girl. The Danish Girl was a stupendous movie. I went into it, like Taylor and I, like we clicked on it, and when we went ahead and started watching it, we didn't know what to expect. I had an idea that it was going to be a story of a man who transitioned, but I didn't know that it was based off of a real story. It was based off of somebody by the name of Lily. Eddie Wedgner. Eddie Eleni Wegener. So Lily Elevinez, better known as Lily Elby, was a Danish painter and transgender woman, and among the early recipients of sex reassignment surgery. She was a successful painter and under the birth name Eleanor Magnus Andres Wegener. And this movie, no spoil, like if you want to watch and you haven't seen it yet, just go ahead and stop watching now. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and do all that before you leave. But he was in this relationship with Gerda. Gerda was his wife. Gerda was a straight female. Lily, or Eddie at the time, before Eleanor, before he transitioned, was a male. And Eleanor felt like a female, right? And they had sex and everything, but then one day, Gerda dresses Eleanor up because Gerda is a painter, and Eleanor fell in love with it. He felt beautiful in it. You can see it. It's very touching. It really is. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie. And he ended up becoming Lily, and he became the first transgender ever to undergo the surgery. And when I think about like scary things, when I think about fear, the one thing that I could never even imagine, like I don't feel like a woman, right? I don't feel like a man. I just feel like me, right? I couldn't imagine being somebody who feels like the opposite sex. It is crazy to think that some people are born as hermaphrodites. Some people are born as hermaphrodites. And when you're born as a hermaphrodite, at birth, somebody decides your sex, right? Like the doctors or the parents. The doctors collaborate with the parents, and if you're hermaphrodite, they decide if you're going to be a male or a female, right? And if they decide you're going to be a male, well, you still have estrogen, you still have female chemicals in your body, and you grow up and you feel confused, right? You have a penis, but everything about you is not that. Like literally at a chemical level, I couldn't imagine the hell that puts people through. And nowadays it's so much easier to be a transgender gender. It's so much easier to be a transsexual. I don't know which one's politically correct, so I'm just gonna use both. I'm just gonna use both. Hopefully, if I get the right one, it forgives my lack of knowledge for the other one. But I couldn't imagine the fear, how scary it has to be somebody who feels like you're not in the right body. And for someone like A&R to feeling like Lily, to make that transition in the 1920s, I think it was in 1920s, they were saying, probably closer to 1929, 1930, to make that transition is absolutely amazing. And when you talk about bravery, I think that's like to the 10th degree. Like in the movie, the doctors are literally putting her in insane asylums. Like they did that thing where they what did they do? They try to, I forget what they did. Radiation. Yeah, they put radiation on his testicles to I don't know, like some witch science shit to like make him come back to a male, because everyone thinks they're broken, right? Everyone thinks they're possessed by the witch. And this is in 1929, 1930, 1931. I couldn't imagine what it would be like even farther back. Like it made me sad. Started thinking about like the medieval times, and like if you were born a hermaphrodite, did they just kill babies if they saw both sex organs? Or like if you told somebody that you wanted to be a female, you felt like a male, did they just dismember you and just leave you and just murder you, right? And it's one of those movements that I can't get behind people who don't believe in transgenders. Like I've heard people say some brutal things, some evil things about transgenders. And there's some things that I don't believe in. Like I don't believe if you're like the UFC fighter who was a male and transitioned into a female after 30 years of being a male. I think I think there's some gray area there, and because you're dealing with somebody who had 30 years of testosterone, the bigger, the stronger, the faster. When you're beating somebody up, it could become a little dangerous. There's some gray area there. Just because physiologically, males are bigger and faster and stronger than females, and it's always going to be that way. That's why warriors are males. That's why military is males, and that's just, you can't argue. Biologically, you cannot argue about that. But I'm just watching this movie the whole time, and I developed, not that I didn't respect them before. I respect humans. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what race you are. I love humanity. I love having conversation with humans. I love talking to humans that I will never understand where they come from, how they feel. I would never understand how someone feels, and I would never fake it and act like I know how someone feels. I hate when people lie and they do that. But it was so pleasant to hear this movie kind of shed light on just a dark world. I mean, this was 2015 when this movie came out. You just think about that. 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the world was so different. Like transgenders, they still barely have. I mean, I don't know, when was the when did transgender become legal? 1980s. Beginning in the 1980s, transgender individuals were officially recognized by the government, allowed to undergo sex reassignments. The 1980s, dude. That's insane to me. That's so insane. 1973, gender dysphoria syndrome was proposed. 1973, which includes transsexualism in addition to other gender identity disorders. Gender dysphoria is used to describe the resulting dissatisfaction in the conflict between gender identity and assigned sex. But then this had Taylor and I, we went ahead and we were looking at different surgeries for because at the time they probably had terrible surgery for Lily. But then we started looking up because we're crazy, and this is what happens when you get somebody who went to school to be a neuroscientist, and you have me who's just extremely fascinated about biology. It's really hard for me to look at, but it's super fascinating. So we looked at like what happens like in order to change your vagina into a penis or change your penis into a vagina. what do you do? Like, how do you do it? Do you just like, do you just get like a cadaver's penis? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. So we looked it up. It's called radial free flat phalloplasty design and outcomes. You can Google it if you want to. It's up to you. Viewer discretion advised. If you do get a little bit queasy inside, you may not want to. Purpose. Phalloplasty is a critical step in female to male, trans male, gender confirming genital surgery. This study examines outcomes between trans males who had phalloplasty with vaginectomy and full-length urethroplasty, utilizing the interlateral thigh pedicid flap, PALT, or radial free flap. So what they do is, if you're female and you want to become a male, for your penis, what they do is they take, what is that? I'm sorry. That's disgusting. So what they do is they take your forearm, right? And they take your thigh, but in this one is your forearm. And they take stem cells. I'm assuming they take stem cells. And they literally grow a penis into your forearm. Like, they cut right here, right? They cut in your forearm. They grow a penis into your forearm, right? And they do this with, like, pigs, I think. Don't they? I think they grow, pigs grow ears. Collatin pig ears. Growing tips and information on pigs. Yeah. Scientists grow a human ear on the back of a rat. Yeah, so that's kind of like a thing that people do. I don't know. I guess PETA would hate it. They're not a fan of it. But yeah, so like if people need ears and stuff, you grow them on animals, and then you give them to people, and then you have a whole thing. But with the penis, for a woman to becoming a male, they just grow it on yourself. So you literally grow, you harvest your own penis. And I'm wondering, like, how do these people get around? Like, do you just wear, like, thick jackets so people don't see you have a penis on your arm? Or is it, like, a sign of pride? Is it, like, a thing that you feel super proud for, that you're growing a dick on your arm? Like, right? I'm assuming it's got to be a good feeling to just be like, there's my future right there, just sitting on my arm. My penis is right there on my arm, and I'm going to be a male. I'm going to be a male, and I'm going to feel good. Like, it's got to be an amazing feeling. Like, I'm not trying to be facetious at all. Like, I really do mean it when I say it. And I guess once it grows to a certain length, they cut it out and they attach it to your inside out vagina, and you're a male, right? You're a male. But there's this movie, she ends up dying like right after she gets surgery. But you just realize just how lucky, not how lucky, but like how far humanity has come, And I think this is very important. I'm going to end the show with this little seance. I think it's not seance. Seance is when like a bunch of devil worshippers like get together and hang out, right? I think we all forget just how far this world has come. Just how far humanity has come. And there's some places like slavery in Saudi Arabia. Like there's some places like is slavery illegal in Saudi Arabia? Slavery was not abolished. Human trafficking. Like I've already did a podcast on that, but there is slavery in countries throughout the world, like human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking. Not getting paid wages. Some people would. You can make a fair argument. I would make a fair argument that Apple phones are made by slaves, child labor. You outsource to countries where if it's not if the law isn't in place where child labor is illegal, are you really breaking the law? No, you're not. But are you being ethical? No, I would say no. I would definitely say no. I don't think you're being ethical, right? You're being unethical. But this is you just start thinking about just how much progress has been made. Like I remember in high school, I knew somebody who and I'll be the first to admit it, I thought it was BS. I didn't trust. I just didn't. I wasn't knowledgeable. I wasn't brought up like in a world where that stuff was even talked about. And it's not like my parents. I'm just saying a world in general. Like transgenders was not a thing. You didn't know transgenders. I knew somebody who was a male and they transitioned to a woman, and it made sense. Like, it made sense. And everything from like sexuality, from being like a homosexual to a heterosexual to a bisexual, like, who cares what your preference is? As long as you feel beautiful and you feel happy, I think that's the only thing that matters. But when people say that, you got to understand the fight that these people have gone through to get to the point where you can say that. If you say that too much, what ends up happening is the needle goes the other way. And if you don't care, that's fine. But also at the same time, these people need to be helped. Like, the transgender movement needs to be spoken about people who are powerful and aren't transgender. But you need to shed light on these people. And I think it's so important with movies like the Danish Girl. It's these movies who shine beautiful light on these beautiful humans. And I think it's so sad that in a lot of parts of this country, and just where I live, like, there's places around here where they hate gays. Literally, I know a lot, not a lot, but I know a decent amount of people who hate gay people, right? And I think it's sad. It's broken. It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. It's a sign of insecurity. I think it's a sign of dumb. I also think you're too religious too. Like, that stuff is wild to me, man. That religion thing, I don't like it. I'm almost, honestly, I was talking to Taylor, like, I'm fed up with it. Like, I'm tired of people acting like there isn't an issue with faith. There is an issue. There's an issue with religion. Because fundamentally, it puts people in groups. And when you put people in groups, the people who are not part of your group, they get left out, or they get outcasted, and it hurts people. Like, fundamentally, that's what happens. I don't know if I don't want to get into all that crazy stuff, but yeah, I highly recommend seeing that movie. It's a fantastic movie. They both are amazing characters. Also Ex Machina. If you haven't seen that movie, go ahead and watch that movie. Give it a go. One thing I want to talk about before I get out of here is there's an Instagram page called, his name is Kyle Dunnigan. He's a comedian. He does skits. He does skits where he makes fun of people. And he did one, he's done the one with like Joe Biden. He's done one with Donald Trump. He's done one with the Kardashians. And I think comedy is one of those places that has to be around forever. I think comedy is like one of the most important things that we can ever have as a society. And he does such a beautiful satire on people. And he's truthful in a lot of aspects. And I think that's why it's hilarious. I think in times of stress, in times of fear, people get very uptight. And when you get uptight, you become, you feel like you almost get like depressed, right? When you become uptight, you need people to come in, like the Tim Dillons, like the Kyle Dunnigans in the world, who come in and make fun of you. Like, you need to be made fun of a lot. Like, I'm a big believer in that. I think you do. I think people have to be made fun of. I think you have to look at your flaws and laugh at them and think they're funny. Fix them, but laugh at them. You can't be one of these people that don't laugh at anything. Like, I don't trust people who don't laugh. I don't trust people who don't make fun of things. I definitely don't trust people who say, you can't judge people. Dude, all I do is judge people. I do, but it's funny. And it's like, not like being rude about it, but just, I think comedy, laughter is the secret of happiness. I think the more and more you laugh, the happier and happier you become. And I think if you look at people who are in happy relationships, healthy relationships, in a healthy place in their life, the one thing they have is comedy. Like, I know for Taylor and I, she makes me laugh so hard. I make her laugh hard. And it just makes life so much more beautiful. It does. It does, man. I think it's important to laugh. If you know someone in your life who's not laughing, either try to make them laugh, and if they don't laugh, get them out. You don't want them in your life. But that's it, guys. I don't really have too much more to say. I've kept you guys long enough. We're closing in on 200 episodes, which is mind-blowing. We've got listeners across the entire globe, which is kind of numbing. It feels numbing inside at times. But yeah, that's that. Once again, the stock market, guys. I want people to take control of their finances. I want people to make money for themselves. 9 to 5s are cool, jobs are cool, but there's so many other ways to make money. Real estate, investing in the market, investing in yourself. One of my buddies came up to me and asked me, "Hey man, how do you market?" And I just put out content, a lot of quality content, a lot. Be like that annoying buzz in someone's ear, because eventually they're gonna take it out, throw it away, the buzz, or they're gonna turn around and start watching. That's what I do with the podcast. I'm annoying it. Do you know how many people probably watch my clips or my podcast and they like, this guy sucks. He's all about himself. Like, he doesn't care about anything. It's never going to succeed. And then 2 months go by, they're saying the same thing. A year goes by and they're like, I'm still listening though. Like, it happens. People, if you annoy people enough, they either get rid of you or they listen to you. And that's what I do with my show. I just put it out everywhere. I tell everybody about it. And I think it's important for you to market your stuff, be honest about it, create something that's for you, have multiple streams of income, work, pay your taxes. Don't be dumb. Don't do things that will ruin you. But that's it, guys. Love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in episode 167 of the Michael Lab Show. Be well. Have a safe weekend. Stay warm. Watch out for the snow. Be safe on the road. Don't drink and drive. I might have a drink this weekend. I haven't drank in like 6 months, man. I'm the worst, man. Operation Save Money. I've just paid off school, so like kind of low my savings. So I gotta build that sucker back up. Start selling some things. Just kidding. I don't do that. Love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in episode 167 of the show with me, Michael Labs. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, do your thing. Peace out. Tell one friend about it. Tell one family about it. The Michael Labs Show.